whiskey and whatever.
I tweeted something earlier today that I was really surprised that more VCs don't sponsor and help fund communal events and event spaces and hackathons and meetups and all that kind of stuff, because where do they think these ideas come from, right?
I'm not following you. The VCs aren't sponsoring hackathons because why?
That's what I don't understand is there's a funding problem. This is a pretty radical topic shift.
Mm-hmm.
There's a funding problem here in Atlanta, right? We know that the startup scene is kind of getting up and started, right? That it's fledgling, infantile at best.
Would you say the startup scene here is infantile at best?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it is. Compared to
The Valley.
or New York or
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah,
right?
DC.
DC. I mean, we are easily in 5th or lower place. Easily.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about some of the things that help create ecosystem, and that's part of the reason we opened this place, is to help create ecosystem. And I think that there's some aversion to funding startups. The reason I bring this up, a prominent, I won't mention them by name, but a prominent group, professional group of academic and startup-focused people who are well-sponsored by major organizations that we all have heard of.
Here in town?
Here in town.
I think I know you're talking. Okay.
Here in town they're using this space, but then they just sent an email today that said that they couldn't afford the space. They couldn't even afford to pay $150 for each use of the space because they don't have any money.
These are the guys that are at the golf club a lot, the country club, and the golf club.
I don't know if it's the country club crew or another crew, but I'm surprised because these guys are funded by major accounting firms, lawyers, HR companies, ad syndicates. I mean, they're funded. They're sponsored by one of the top 3 ad firms in the world. And who knows what that sponsorship means? Maybe it just means, hey, we'll give you some free coasters, or we'll buy you sodas, or whatever. But why is it that groups struggle to find funding here in Atlanta? They can't afford to rent space. They can't afford to provide drinks for the membership or do a lot of services for that membership. There's a couple of groups that have money and the rest just don't. And I think that's because the people in the community that have money don't realize the value of the ecosystem around them. They don't realize the value of creating ecosystem because it retains employees, it generates ideas, and it creates community so that people feel more comfortable talking about stuff, and that's part of, this is a follow-on to my density thing.
Well, I think,
right?
Are you asking what I think about that?
Yeah, do you think that's true?
I think it's fucked up, short-sighted thinking on their part. The people that are
on whose part?
The people that could be funding things are not funding them.
Right.
You know, they're choosing. They're being penny wise and pound foolish.
Absolutely.
You know, they're not looking at the value of the ecosystem. So.
But do you think that's a symptom of the size of the city we're in?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a symptom of short-sightedness on the part of the people that are leading that entity. Can we try this one?
You want to try that one?
Yeah, I do.
Let's make the switch.
I think you need people that have vision to run things, and we all know good things that are out there, but they're run by buffoons. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Of
course.
So, I mean, I think that's just short-sighted thinking. You know, I mean, I've done some things where, let's just say I've lost money on it. You know, on a ledger sheet, I've lost money, but I've gained so much more. I've gained friendships, I've gained relationships, I've gained insight, I've gained, you know, indirect ways of learning, you know, profiting. You know, it doesn't all come down to dollars and cents, you know, on the ledger. You know, so I just think it's a short-sighted way of thinking. I think it's messed up. And if you want to pinch everybody, you're going to lose. Maybe in the end, if you're a real miser, you could say, okay, I made some money, but you know, what's the point?
Whatever.